about 6:40 a.m. We are up and at 'em this morning with intentions to do a hike. We're camped out at this spot about, I don't know, half a mile from the trailhead. We are gonna head up that way and get the day rolling here.
Up bright and early this morning. I think I set my alarm and actually woke up around 6:15, which for us is pretty early. We were camped a half a mile from the trailhead where we are now. It can be a challenge to find good camping near the trailhead. Not every single spot allows you to park overnight. We are doing the Pickett's Post Loop Trail. There's a summit trail here as well, but from what I understand, it's not so great for dogs. And I'm kind of nursing an old knee injury that isn't quite fully back to 100%, at least as far as I can tell. But it's a beautiful day. I think it's about 50 outside right now. It's not going to get over 70, so a really nice day to do a good long hike. And I think it's going to be a good one.
The slow day, the calm, and the night will unfold. Never thought that I would be traveling this road.
And we're off. So basically, we're doing a loop trail that circles the bottom of this mountain here. There's two ways you can go. You can go clockwise or counterclockwise. The internet has said that it's better to go counterclockwise to start because the trail gets a little more interesting as you go, as opposed to starting off interesting and getting less interesting as you travel. And then at the end of the trail, the sun is at your back, which will be nice too after hiking 8 and some change miles. So here we go.
So tell me, are you still in there? As beautiful as you are.
So over here, we have what I think is an agave death bloom. So when agave plants get close to the end of their life, they grow this super long, like center stem, kind of this big long stalk, and then they die. I've never seen one in person, and there's quite a few around here, so I thought that was pretty cool.
It's pretty wild to see how much saguaro there is in this little valley here. And I know we talked about how tall they get in the last video, but some of these have a ton of arms, which they don't really get until like 50 to 100 years of growth. Some of these have so many, which just gives you an idea of how long they've been here. Pretty cool to see.
You're laughing, the curls in your hair. I wish that I could tell you how much I really care. You're harmless.
You would have no idea that we're in Arizona if you didn't already know that we're in Arizona. This is one of the more interesting hikes I think we've ever done out here. Totally unexpected to find this like forest out in the middle of the desert. Pretty wild.
As beautiful as you are, you just don't.
And just like that, we're back in Arizona. Good girl. Oh yeah. We're your friends, Piper.
Even if you don't want, you wrote your name in my heart.
We made it. We're back. I think we clocked a total of closer to 9.5 miles rather than the 8.5 that the trail is listed at online. But seriously, gorgeous hike, highly recommended. I really enjoyed it. Piper really enjoyed it. She's finally gonna settle down, I think, for us here. So from here, we're looking at heading up north. The weather's getting kind of warm in the valley, so we're hoping to run from some of that hot weather just a little bit. There's some BLM land up that way that we haven't checked out yet. We're gonna probably grab some food on the way. We're both starving because we hiked for 4.5 hours today. I think we earned something.
goods. Look at that. Ooh, doggy. All right, time to have a heart attack. Cheers. Jess has already broken into hers.
I couldn't wait. I'm starving.
The thing about In-N-Out, I know it's just fast food, but it's just like such an elevated version of a fast food burger. It's like one of the first things we do when we get to Arizona when we come out from the East Coast.
Find good burritos, and then you find an In-N-Out.
That's it. The only reason we can eat this today is because we went on a 9-mile hike.
World gets lonely when you got no one on your side.
That spot, it's like paved, but the only thing is I don't want to go over it. I don't want the water to rise.
That's the problem, right?
Right.
I don't know what the weather is.
Backing up on this section, it's gonna suck. Oh, no big deal, just driving in reverse. Driving straight once more, look at that. Thank you, random ranch driveway that allowed us to pull around. Well, it's not the most ideal spot we've ever had. We took this road all the way down, and it's a really passable road, so we didn't feel bad going deeper to find a better spot. But it's getting dark, and we came to like a little crossing where the road was flooded a little bit. We probably could have made it across. It wasn't anything insane, but it was just better to play it safe. So we came back up to this spot, which is located right next to a cattle guard, and it's not level at all, but it's a place to sleep, and maybe we'll move on tomorrow.
So the day's not over yet. We got to this spot, and we were ready to, get parked and maybe have dinner and go to bed, and our door won't open. It looks kind of like the deadbolt mechanism is no longer moving, the deadbolt. So this door no longer opens. It's just a wall right now. So I'm off to Google some fixes and hopefully come up with something before it gets too dark so that we don't have to have a non-working door for the next however long we decided we wanted to stay out here.
Yay, Jess got the door open with a 4.
Oh man, we're in for another adventure. Ladies and gentlemen, something's always breaking when you live in a vehicle, and sometimes it's something this dumb, but that doesn't make it any less of a giant pain in the ass.
Have you tried pulling it to close?
This moves it out, right? You turn it this way, here. It comes out perfectly, but it will not go back. So this is inset inside of our door here, which is something I did not replace. I just utilized the deadbolt that came with this door when I installed our lock. This whole situation is a little more complicated than I had hoped. So after looking at the mechanism inside the door, I think I know what I need to replace it. It shouldn't be that involved of a fix, but obviously I don't carry spare deadbolts with me as we travel, so we're gonna go into town and buy one. We were planning on staying out here for a couple of days, but there's not a lot of great spots. This spot that we're in now is kind of really exposed. It's really windy here, and we're really close to the road right next to a cattle guard, which is loud and not awesome. So I think we're gonna leave tomorrow instead of staying around here, and we're gonna go into town and hopefully fix this in the parking lot of the hardware store. And then from there, we'll go find hopefully somewhere else to camp, assuming I can get this job done all in one afternoon. So with that, we are exhausted. We are going to bed. We will see you tomorrow.
Good morning. So today the name of the game is getting that deadbolt fixed on our door. We're gonna have to head into town and go to a hardware store, and I'm really hoping it doesn't take all day to figure out a way to fix this. It seems like it would be an easy fix, but you never know. Things can complicate themselves really quickly whenever it comes to doing any sort of fixing on a bus. Hopefully we can get this figured out really quickly and be parked in a better spot tonight. So with that said, let's get a move on.
So update to the lock situation. When I installed the lock that's on our side door, I got lucky and the original deadbolt actually fit the lock that I had purchased off the internet, so I didn't have to replace it. The original piece, that deadbolt, is the piece that is broken. I naively assumed that I could come to any old Home Depot and find another deadbolt that would also fit the same lock the same way that it did for us the first time around. And apparently that's not the case. None of the deadbolts here at Home Depot are the right size or shape for the lock that we have. So unfortunately, that means that we cannot fix this lock right now, which is definitely frustrating because this is something we use every single day. Fortunately, we can latch the door with a different latch that we have on it while we're driving and moving around. So it's just more of an annoyance than anything right now. What I think I'm gonna do is order an entire replacement of the same lock that we already have, so I know for a fact that the deadbolt will fit, and then we'll pick that up from an Amazon locker later in the week, maybe early next week, depending on where we decide to go. So the plan from here, because there's literally nothing else we can do at this point, is to leave town. We're gonna go get camp somewhere. Since the weather in the valley is gonna be hot this week, we are headed up to Sedona. I don't like going up there unless it's warm down here, and this week, because it's gonna be so hot here, it's gonna be beautiful up that way. So we're gonna get back on the road and drive up and see if we can find somewhere pretty to camp this evening. Good morning. So last night we drove for a very long time and ended up in definitely not the worst camp spot we've ever been in. This is the popular camp spot out here. You'll see most of the campers, you know, on this road, and we drove and drove and drove, just desperate to find a single spot. And that's how we ended all the way up back here, which is not something we usually do. And we don't have service here. So we are on a quest this morning to find a spot just further up the road here that might have some better service so that I can get some work done. And if we can find a spot like that, I think we'll probably ride the weekend out right here, because this, like, come on, you can't beat it.
All right, so we found a new spot after about an hour of driving around looking for an open place. We finally got one. Not as picturesque as the last place we were at. It's still really beautiful though. Maybe we're just snobs when it comes to campsites, I don't know. But the service is much better in this spot, which is a must for Jess because she has some work to get done in the next few days. So we haven't had our coffee yet, so I am gonna get started on that because that sounds really, really good right about now. Coffee is made. For the next few days, I think the plan is to hang tight right here. After the last few days of moving around so much, I think both of us could use a little bit of rest of not having to drive somewhere. Hopefully in the next few days, the parts to fix that lock will arrive and we could get that hammered out because neither of us like not having a lock on our door. In the meantime though, I think we'll just hold up here for the next few days and stare at some pretty mountains.
But I'm down all the time.
Don't worry, I got you.